everyone, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing a Would You Rather kind of video, and it's going to be the Would You Rather Face Edition. And I thought of this just because I have parts of my face that I like better than the other parts of my face. For instance, I like a certain side for my brows better than the other side, and I have certain reasons for that as well. So this is going to be Would You Rather Face Edition, and I'm going to go through some categories and just let you know basically what side I prefer and some of the reasons why. I have a couple of interesting stories that, you know, might be a reason why I prefer one side over the other. Okay, so to start things off, I am going to go with brows. Do I prefer my right side or my left side? So keeping in mind, this would be the opposite for you. So I'm going to try and point when I'm referring to them. So, because I might get confused and, you know, whatever. So I will point to whatever side I prefer and whatnot, just so that you aren't confused by, you know, right and left being the opposite of what I am saying. So for my brows, I prefer my left side. I have a much easier time doing my brows. I will try and insert a picture here if I can find one, because I'm not sure that you can tell right now, but I tend to use pomades more often than not when I am doing my brows, for the simple fact that I do have this scar here, and if I'm using a pencil or a powder, it gets really sloppy in the area of the scar, and it drags my eye down as well because it doesn't follow the natural curve of my brow, which would go like this. It kind of cuts down like this. So I do prefer using a pomade. I don't always do it. Most of the time, if I'm in a rush or just doing like a low-key look, I am going for just a pencil. That's my preferred method if I'm not, you know, glamming it up at all. But yeah, I do prefer my left side to my right side. The reason that I do have this scar on this eye is because when I was, I believe, in grade 5, so I think I was 10 years old, our elementary school had like a big dip in the field, and in the spring it would fill with rain, and so my school was called Quaker Road Public School, and so we called that that particular part of the field Quaker Lake. And in the winter here in Canada, it gets cold and it snows and stuff freezes, and so Quaker Lake froze, and we were all told to stay off the ice, and usually I was a very good child and student and I listened. But my brother, who was is a year younger than me, he had just gotten tubes put in his ears, and so he was told that he had to always make sure he had a hat on just to help his ears heal and that sort of thing, especially in the winter time, because it had just happened. My brother, so some grade 8 students, I believe they were picking on my brother. He may have deserved it in all likelihood. I'm not sure, but being the good sister that I am, I was there to defend him and help him, and these grade 8 students decided to take his hat and run. And my brother, being the 9-year-old macho boy that he was, just kind of cried. He didn't do anything, and I saw this happening out in the schoolyard and everything. So being the good sister, I ran after the much larger grade 8 students who were at least 3 years older than me. So I'm running after them in the field, trying to chase them and get this hat back, and it's me against like 4 or 5 of these other kids, right? So I'm chasing them, and they go onto Quaker Lake, which was frozen, so it was like Quaker ice rink out there, and I was doing pretty good. I was following them, and I went to grab the one boy that had it, and one of the other boys, I don't think he did it intentionally, but he was behind me, and I'm guessing he slipped because he's a nice kid. He was a nice guy. None of these kids were mean. They were just being little buggers. But someone was behind me, one of these boys, and they either fell or tripped on the ice, and I was in front of them, and they pushed me, and I went down. So I fell on my face on Quaker Lake on the ice, and right away I had this big white wool mitt on, and I just put it right up to my head because it was aching and everything, and I was just like, oh man. And so one of the other boys that I had been chasing, trying to get this hat, ran and got the teacher that was on duty for recess at that time, and she came over and she's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. It just hurts a little bit. Meanwhile, my hand's still up here, right? I have no idea what's going on. So she's like, okay, let me take a peek. So I kind of pulled my hand back a little bit. She's like, oh my goodness, put your hand back. And I'm like, okay, why? And I had no idea. She's like, just keep your hand there. We're gonna go into school. We're gonna just get you cleaned up a bit. And again, I have no idea why. I thought maybe I had a big like shiner kind of happening on my eye and a bruise going on. And so they go and take me in, and so the one teacher who had his first aid and everything came to kind of look at what was going on, and he's like, okay, take your hand away. And at that point I did, and my hand, I mean, it had felt warm, but I didn't clue in, but it was, my nice big woolen white mitt was covered in blood. I was just gushing. He's like, yeah, we gotta clean that up. And he's cleaning it up, and he's like, I think we need to call your mom. I think you need to go get stitches. And sure enough, I ended up at emergency, and I had to see a plastic surgeon who, actually, I was very fortunate that the person that was there at the hospital that day was very good with doing stuff like that, and he stitched me up. And you really don't notice it unless I mention it, that I have this scar here, so I'm very thankful that he did such a good job. And so that is why I prefer my left eyebrow, because it does not have a scar running right through it. The next item for my face on my would you rather would be my eyes, and in this case I prefer my right side. I don't have any big stories about why I prefer it, other than the fact that this eye has a wonky little kinky curl kind of thing on the end. It's very hard for me to get like just like that wispy end on my lashes, just because they do have a weird kink in them, and they just kind of, they don't go out fluttery nice like normal, what am I doing? They don't go like normal lashes would. They just have this kink in it, so they kind of go more inward than out. And so just in general, they're a pain in the butt. So I prefer this side because I don't have that problem. These ones, they curl perfectly, they go beautifully, they do whatever I want. These ones are like a naughty child that just have their own personality and want to do what they want. The next part of my would you rather would be my cheeks. And again, I prefer my right side to my left side. And the only reason why I prefer it is just because I have a little bit more texture just right here. Not even that much. I think there's like one bump there compared to this side, which I don't have anything. So when you put it all together, the right side beats the left side for my cheeks. The next part of my would you rather would be for your full face. Do you prefer it head-on profile or side profile? And for me personally, I prefer side profile. I don't know, I like the shape of my nose when I'm facing this way better. You don't see like the big kind of wideness here that I have. Not that I hate my nose in any way, shape, or form. I really like the slope that I have. Can we get it? From my profile, or my side profile, I just in general like it a little bit better. I in no means hate my front head facing, forward facing profile in any way, shape. I really like the slope of my nose on my side profile. That might seem a little odd, but that's just the way it is. The last part of this would you rather would be my upper or lower lip. Now you might think that is odd, but for me, I do prefer my lower lip. And the reason for that is, again, I have a scar on my upper lip. And I can actually feel it go right through to the back inside my mouth. And it happened when I was 4 years old, I think. And you can't really see it, but it does make my lipstick go on a little bit wonky right here. Sometimes it looks like I wasn't very careful putting on lipstick, but it's just because I do have a scar that runs, it's very teeny tiny, and it goes right from about here, and it went right in my lip. Like I cut my lip right open from front to back, and I can feel like the scar still from when I was like 4 years old inside my mouth. Oh, there it is. So I do prefer that, and I do have a story for this scar as well, because I mean, if you're gonna have a scar, you might as well make it good, right? So for this one, again, it was wintertime. I was a little girl. I was in like head to toe snow gear, full on one-piece snowsuit. I still remember it. I will leave a picture here of me and my brother playing in the snow, and you can kind of get a look at what that looked like, those snowsuits. If you can't tell for sure, if you've ever seen the Christmas Story with little, is it Randy? When he's getting dressed up, it wasn't that color, but it was pretty much the same kind of outfit. So I had that on, and I was playing outside, and I had my boots on, and it was wet out, it was slushy. I still remember that the snow was starting to melt a little bit. There was still a lot out there, but it was wet. And I remember for whatever reason, I was coming in the house and I had found something outside. And my mom says that I found a spoon, but I know it wasn't a spoon. I had actually found, it was a metal thing, like a metal rectangle, and it's got the holes in it, and I will try and leave a picture of one here. I'm sure my husband will know what I'm talking about. But I had found this particular thing outside, and I was coming in the house, and I don't know if I was trying to find my dad to give it to him or what, but when you walked in our side door, you could either go up a couple steps into the kitchen, or you went right down stairs, and it was like a full flight of stairs, like 14 stairs or whatever, and it was just like a concrete floor on the bottom with just like a carpet on top. No plush or anything, like an area rug type of carpet on top of it. There was no batting. There was no carpet on the stairs or anything. They were just, my guess is they were linoleum down the stairs. I can't remember, but that was kind of the thing in 1982. So I'm pretty sure that's the way it was, and this is what I'm picturing. So I had this piece of metal in my hand, and I have these big gloves on, and I have this big snowsuit, and I have these boots, and they're wet from the slush and the snow, and I'm in the house, and I wasn't running. I know that, because I was always careful. But I walked in, and I went to go downstairs, and I took like the first step, and I slipped, and I went head over heels all the way down the stairs, and I ended up on the floor with a big bloody lip. And my poor mother thought I was dying because I was just covered in blood, and she saw me and she's like, oh no. And so she I was already bundled up, so she just kind of like cleaned me up a bit and threw me in the car, and we raced off to the hospital again. And I still remember my dad saying that he was upset because my mom had ran over the neighbor's garbage pails when in her hurry to get out of the driveway, and she had ruined them, and they weren't happy about that. So she took me to the hospital, and they said they couldn't stitch me up because it went right through into my mouth, and at that time they didn't have stitches that they could put into my mouth that way. So they just kind of like bandaged up the front and everything a little bit, and said, make sure she doesn't play with it, because 4-year-old's not gonna play with something stuck on their face or anything like that. So yeah, but I guess I did okay, because it's not super noticeable or anything like that. It's not anything disfiguring for me or anything. So, but yeah, I had this scar and they couldn't stitch it up, which I'm amazed at how well it actually turned out. Apparently, and I vaguely remember this too, I remember talking to my grandmother, and when she saw me and I was crying, and she's like, what's wrong? And I just looked at her and said, oh Ma, I'm not pretty anymore. Oh, poor little Leia. But yeah, it all worked out. There's no lasting, there's nothing that kind of came out of that other than a little scar that no one would even notice if I didn't mention it. But that is why I prefer my lower lip to my upper lip, because my upper lip gives me some problems when I'm trying to put lipstick on, especially liquid lipstick. It just kind of gets in that little part there, and it just looks like I've done a sloppy job when I'm trying really hard to do a good job. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. And that, everyone, is all of the things that I could think of for Would You Rather Face Edition. If you can think of any other Would You Rather questions for your face, let me know in the comments below what you would rather, either from the ones that I have here, or if you can think of anything else. Maybe you have a favorite nostril. I don't know. I don't really have one. They look pretty equal to me for me, but maybe you do. Let me know in the comments below. If you are curious about the look that I have going on my eyes here right now, I do have a copy that look video that I did on that. I will leave it here in the cards if I can figure it out, and in the description box below for sure as well. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button too if you'd like to see future videos from me. Thank you again for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.